The alien queen roared in fury, her sons vanished. Then they were found asleep on a human's chest. The Xyrathi hive ship drifted through the cold dark of space like a living continent. Its walls breathed, its corridors pulsed with soft light. At the very center of it all, the queen slept. She dreamed of conquest. Then the dream shattered. A psychic scream tore through the hive, sharp and sudden. The queen's eyes snapped open. Her massive form rose from the nesting chamber, wings spreading wide as the air trembled around her. Something was wrong. Something was missing. She reached out with her mind, searching for the familiar presence she felt at all times, the three bright flames that were her sons, her heirs, her future. There was nothing, no response, no echo, only empty silence. The queen roared. The sound rolled through the hive ship like thunder, shaking walls and sending thousands of drones to their knees. Alarm signals screamed through the living structure as warriors armed themselves without orders. The queen's sons were gone. This had never happened before. The princes were guarded by elite soldiers and watched by psychic sentinels. No enemy had ever breached the royal chambers. No assassin had ever come close. Yet the bond was broken. The queen pushed herself forward, her claws carving grooves into the living floor. Her mind raced through possibilities: betrayal, advanced stealth technology, ancient enemies long thought extinct. And then another thought appeared: humans. The Xyrathi had crossed paths with humans only a few times, a young species, fragile bodies, short lives, loud emotions. But unpredictable, always unpredictable. The queen hated unpredictability. "Find them," she commanded, her voice echoing in every mind aboard the ship. "Search every signal, every trace. I want answers." The hive obeyed instantly. Biological sensors scanned the nearby systems. Psychic feelers stretched across space. Data flooded into the queen's consciousness. Then a signal appeared, faint, strange, calm. The prince's life signs were active, strong, not injured, not frightened. They were peaceful. The queen froze. Xyrathi princes were never peaceful. Even as infants, they radiated aggression. Their biology demanded dominance. Fear was the only response they inspired. Yet the readings showed slow heart rhythms, rest states, deep rest. Impossible. The location of the signal came next. A small structure, artificial. Human design, a medical rescue station. The queen's fury burned hotter. Humans had taken her sons. She did not consider diplomacy. She did not consider misunderstanding. The universe had taught her a single truth across centuries of war. When something precious vanished, someone had taken it, and the price was always blood. "Prepare the fleet," she ordered. "No warnings, no mercy. We retrieve my sons." Across the hive ship, massive organic cannons unfolded. Fighter creatures detached from the hull. Warriors flooded into transport vessels, their armor grown directly onto their bodies. The queen moved to the viewing chamber as the fleet aligned itself for faster-than-light travel. The stars stretched into lines as space folded. The journey was short. The human station came into view, a fragile metal structure orbiting a dead moon. No weapons platforms. No defense fleet. No signs of panic. That alone was suspicious. The queen ordered the fleet to surround the station. Her ships blotted out the stars, casting long shadows across the human structure. Still, no resistance. No attack. Only silence. "Scan again," the queen demanded. The readings confirmed it. Her sons were inside, alive, calm. The queen's rage shifted into something colder, more focused. Humans were either incredibly foolish or hiding something dangerous. She ordered a boarding force. Xyrathi warriors tore through the station's outer hull with controlled precision. They expected screams. They expected alarms. They expected chaos. They found none of it. Human staff froze in terror at the sight of the towering aliens, but no one fought back. No one reached for weapons. Some raised their hands. Others simply stared, too shocked to move. The warriors advanced, following the psychic trail of the princes. It led them deeper into the station. through narrow corridors, past rooms filled with injured beings from dozens of species. Humans and aliens alike lay side by side, treated with equal care. The queen followed, her massive form squeezing through spaces never meant for her kind. The deeper she went, the stranger it felt. There was no fear in the air, only exhaustion, relief, quiet. The trail ended at a single door, a recovery ward. The warriors hesitated. The psychic readings were strongest here, but still calm, almost gentle. The queen pushed past them and opened the door herself. She stopped. Inside the room, a human lay on a medical bed. Male, injured, wrapped in bandages. His breathing was slow and steady, and on his chest, her son's. All three princes were curled together, their massive forms pressed close to the human's body. Their claws were relaxed. Their armored tails were loose. They were asleep, truly asleep. The queen could not move. She had never seen her sons like this. Not once since their hatching, not even under heavy sedation. Yet here they were, trusting their full weight to a creature that could be crushed with a single claw. One of the princes shifted slightly, making a soft sound. A sound the queen did not recognize. The warriors behind her stiffened. That sound was not a threat. It was contentment. A Xyrathi scientist stepped forward, shaking. "My queen, their stress hormones are near zero." The queen's mind reeled. This was wrong. This broke every rule of biology she understood. Humans were weak, loud, fragile. How could one calm beings born to conquer? She stepped closer. The human stirred but did not wake. His hand rested loosely against the armored hide of one prince, fingers curled slightly as if holding a child. The queen felt something unfamiliar twist inside her chest. Fear. Not fear of the human, fear of what this meant. "Remove them," she ordered quietly. Two warriors moved forward, carefully reaching for the nearest prince. The moment their claws touched his armor, the prince's eyes snapped open. The room exploded with psychic force. The princes surged upright, roaring in unison. Their bodies flared with bioluminescent patterns of pure aggression. The warriors were thrown back as if struck by a storm. The human woke with a startled gasp. "Hey, hey, it's okay," he said, his voice weak but calm. "You're safe." The princes froze. They turned toward him instantly. Their rage faded as quickly as it had appeared. One by one, they settled back down, pressing close to the human again. The room fell silent. The queen stared. Her sons had chosen. The queen understood then. This was no kidnapping. This was something far more dangerous, something the galaxy was not ready for, and humanity was standing at the center of it. The room stayed silent long after the princes settled back onto the human's chest. The Xyrathi warriors did not move. Their claws were raised, their muscles tight, but none dared to attack again. They had seen what happened when they tried to take the princes away. The queen stood still, watching every breath her sons took. The human lay beneath them, eyes open now, confused but calm. His heartbeat was steady, his breathing slow. He did not panic, even though three alien monsters rested on him like living armor. He looked around the room and finally noticed the queen. His eyes widened. "Oh," he said quietly, "you must be their mother." Several warriors hissed in anger. The queen raised one claw, silencing them. "Yes," the queen replied. Her voice echoed in every mind in the room. "I am," the human swallowed. "I'm sorry if there's been a misunderstanding. They were hurt when I found them. I didn't know who they belonged to." The queen searched his thoughts. There was no deception, only exhaustion, concern, a simple desire to help. This confused her more than any lie could have. "Explain," the queen said. The human shifted slightly, careful not to disturb the princes. "My name is Elias Grant. I work search and rescue. We got a distress signal from debris near the outer orbit. I found them drifting inside a broken pod." He paused, remembering. "They were aggressive at first. I thought they were wild animals, dangerous but scared." The queen felt a surge of disbelief. Xyrathi princes were never scared. I sedated them just enough to stop the bleeding, Elias continued. But when the meds wore off, they didn't attack. They just stayed close. One of the princes let out a soft, rumbling sound again. The queen's wings twitched. That sound, she said, that is not possible. Elias gave a small smile. I guess they felt safe. Safe. The word echoed painfully in the queen's mind. Zirathi were never safe. They were strong or dead. That was the rule of the universe. She turned to her scientists. Explain this. The lead scientist stepped forward, trembling. My queen, the readings are consistent. The human emits low-level neural signals, emotional stability, social bonding responses. His species evolved strong calming behaviors. The queen stared at Elias. You are weak, she said bluntly. Elias nodded. Compared to you, yes. You have no claws, no armor, no psychic defenses. That's true, yet my sons trust you. Elias looked down at the princes, then back up. They're not weapons to me, they're just kids. The queen felt something crack inside her. Her sons were born as weapons. That was their purpose. That was their honor. But here, in this small room, they were something else. The queen stepped closer. The princes did not react with aggression. They did not shield the human from her. Instead, one shifted, making room for her presence. That had never happened before. The queen lowered herself slowly, bringing her massive head closer to Elias. If I kill you, she said, will they follow me? The room froze. Elias did not move. I don't think so. The queen studied his face. There was fear now, but not panic, not hatred, just honesty. I think they chose me, he said quietly. At least for now. The queen pulled back. Killing him would be easy. Living with the result would not. She turned away. Stand down, she ordered her warriors. Shock rippled through the hive mind. The queen had never retreated from a threat, yet she did. Outside the station, the massive fleet remained in position. Other alien empires had noticed by now. Long-range sensors were watching, recording. If the queen attacked, war would spread. If she did not, rumors would spread instead. The queen returned her focus to the room. How long have they been here? She asked. 2 days, Elias replied. They wouldn't let anyone else near them. The queen closed her eyes. 2 days without violence, without dominance displays, without blood. Impossible. Can you move? She asked. I can try, Elias said. He shifted slowly, adjusting his position. The princes stirred but did not wake. They tightened their hold slightly, claws resting gently against his sides. The queen felt something dangerous rise in her chest. Jealousy. She pushed it down. You will come with us, she said. Elias frowned. I can't leave the station. I have patience. The queen paused. This human refused her. No threat, no challenge, just refusal. We will protect them, she said instead. Elias shook his head. They don't need protection, they need rest. The queen stared at him. You speak to a queen. And you're talking to a medic, Elias replied. Different jobs. The room remained silent. Then unexpectedly the queen laughed. It was a low, rumbling sound that shook the walls. No one had heard it before. You are strange, she said. Dangerously strange. Elias smiled weakly. I get that a lot. The queen turned to her scientists. Study him from a distance. No harm. They bowed deeply. She turned back to Elias. You will remain here under my protection. That sounds like prison. It is not, she said. It is survival. Outside, news spread quickly. The Zirathi fleet had not attacked. Human networks filled with panic and confusion. Alien empires whispered of weakness, of tricks, of something hidden. None of them knew the truth. That in a quiet room on a small rescue station, the most dangerous heirs in the galaxy slept peacefully on a human chest. The queen looked at her sons one last time before leaving the room. They did not follow her. They did not wake. They stayed. And for the first time in centuries, the queen felt fear not of an enemy, but of change. Because if humans could calm monsters without force, then the balance of the galaxy had already shifted. The rescue station changed overnight. Where once there had been quiet halls and tired medical staff, Now there were Xyrathi guards posted at every entrance. Their massive forms stood still and alert, but their weapons remained lowered. They had strict orders: no harm, no threats, no sudden movements near the human. The human's name echoed through the hive mind: Elias Grant. The Queen watched from her flagship as live feeds streamed into her chamber. Every breath he took, every small movement, every reaction from her sons. They still slept on him. Hours passed, then days. The princes woke only to eat, then returned to rest. They followed Elias with slow, careful steps when he moved. They refused to leave the recovery ward unless he was present. Xyrathi scientists were terrified. Nothing in their records explained this behavior. "These are apex entities," one scientist said. "They should dominate all nearby life." "They are doing the opposite," another replied. "They are bonding." The Queen felt the weight of every word. Bonding was a concept Xyrathi used only for hive loyalty. It was not meant for outsiders, yet here it was. Elias continued his work. He treated wounded traders. He cleaned equipment. He spoke softly to patients who were afraid of the towering aliens now guarding the station. When he grew tired, the princes sensed it. They would gather around him, forming a protective wall of armored bodies. No one could approach without his permission. The Queen saw it all. Her sons had become guardians, not conquerors. Outside the system, the galaxy reacted. Messages flooded in. Alien leaders demanded explanations. Military councils prepared for war. Human governments sent urgent signals, confused and frightened by the sudden presence of a massive Xyrathi fleet over a civilian station. The Queen ignored most of them. Her attention remained fixed on the human. She ordered a controlled experiment, a minor disturbance. Xyrathi engineers created a small, harmless energy fluctuation near the station, something that would normally trigger aggression in the princes. The moment it happened, the princes reacted, but not with rage. They moved closer to Elias. Their breathing slowed. Their aggression dropped. The scientists stared in disbelief. "He stabilizes them," one whispered. The Queen's claws tightened. If this was true, then humans were not weak. They were something far more dangerous. The Queen decided to speak to Elias again. She entered the station without escort this time. The corridors were quiet as she approached the recovery ward. Elias was sitting on the edge of his bed, drinking water. The princes lay nearby, alert but calm. "They listen to you," the Queen said. Elias looked up. "They trust me." "Why?" she asked. Elias thought for a moment. "Because I don't see them as threats." The Queen considered this. The entire galaxy saw the Xyrathi as monsters, enemies, destroyers, and humans. They saw patience. The Queen lowered herself slowly, folding her wings. "You understand," she said, "that others will try to use you." Elias nodded. "They already do." "Not like this." The Queen gestured to her sons. "You calm what should not be calmed." Elias frowned. Maybe they never wanted to be angry all the time. The Queen's mind reeled. That thought had never existed in her species. The princes approached Elias, one resting its massive head against his shoulder. Elias smiled and scratched a rough armored ridge without thinking. The Queen felt her control slip. She saw her sons as she had never seen them before. Not weapons, children. Outside the station, alien sensors flared. A foreign fleet entered the system. The Velkar Dominion, old enemies of the Xyrathi. They broadcast a message immediately. "We see weakness," the Velkar commander said. "Hand over the human or we will take him." The Queen's rage ignited. Before she could respond, Elias spoke. He had been listening to the broadcast. "Please don't fight," he said. The Queen stared at him. "They will kill you," she said. "They don't have to," Elias replied. "Let me talk." The Queen hesitated. Every instinct screamed no, but she had already crossed many lines. 5 minutes, she said. The broadcast channel opened. Elias stepped forward, standing unarmed before the camera. The princes followed, looming behind him. The Velkar commander laughed. "You think words will stop us?" Elias spoke calmly. "I think you're scared. The commander snarled. Of what? Of what you don't understand, Elias said. You see power as something loud, violent, but there's another kind. The Velkar ships moved closer. The princes reacted instantly, but instead of attacking they roared, not in rage but in warning. The sound shook space itself. Elias raised his hand. They stopped. Every sensor recorded it. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. The Velkar commander's laughter died. "What are you?" he demanded. "I'm human," Elias said, "and we don't need to fight." The Velkar fleet retreated. No shots fired, no blood spilled. The queen felt something heavy settle in her chest, a truth she could no longer deny. Humanity was not a minor species. They were a force that could change the galaxy without firing a weapon. The queen made her decision. She broadcast across all channels. "Hear this," she declared. "Humans are under Xyrathi protection." Shockwaves rippled through every empire. "To harm them," she continued, "is to invite our full wrath." Elias turned to her. "That's a lot." The queen inclined her head. "You have earned it." She looked at her sons. They looked back at Elias, not her. The queen felt no anger, only acceptance. The galaxy had changed. And it was a human who had done it by simply being kind. The galaxy did not sleep after the queen's declaration. Messages exploded across every known network. Governments argued. Military leaders panicked. Scholars rewrote theories that had stood for thousands of years. Humans protected by the Xyrathi. It made no sense. The Xyrathi were conquerors. They respected only strength. Yet now they stood guard over a small rescue station and one injured human medic. Elias Grant did not feel powerful. He felt tired. He sat in the recovery ward, sipping warm nutrient broth, while the princes rested nearby. They were larger now, stronger, but still calm. Their presence filled the room like living walls. "You've caused a mess," Elias said quietly. One prince lifted its head and made a soft sound. Elias smiled. "Yeah, I know, not your fault." The queen watched from the doorway. She had spent her life ruling through fear. Now fear followed her in a different way, not fear of enemies, but fear of losing something fragile. "Trust," the queen stepped forward. "You may return to Earth," she said. Elias blinked. "I can." "Yes," he looked at the princes. "What about them?" "They will return with me," the queen replied. "But they will visit." Elias nodded slowly. "I'll miss them." The queen hesitated, then spoke words no Xyrathi ruler had ever spoken. "So will they." The departure was broadcast across the galaxy. A human transport ship docked at the station. Xyrathi warriors lined the halls, standing in silent respect. Medical staff watched in disbelief as Elias prepared to leave. The princes followed him to the airlock. One blocked the doorway with its massive body. "You can't come," Elias said gently. "Not this time." The prince lowered its head, touching his chest lightly. Elias placed his hand on its armored hide. "I'll see you again." Slowly, reluctantly, the princes stepped back. The queen felt the hive tremble with their sadness. Elias boarded the ship. As it pulled away, the princes watched until it vanished into the stars. The galaxy waited. Nothing broke. No wars began. Instead, something unexpected happened. Other species came to humans, not for weapons, for help. Creatures with unstable biology. Species plagued by uncontrollable aggression. Civilizations locked in endless cycles of violence. Humans listened. They sat with them, treated them, spoke calmly, refused to see monsters, and it worked. Human neural patterns, emotional stability, and social bonding did something no technology ever had. They soothed chaos. The Xyrathi princes grew. They became powerful beyond measure. Stronger than any before them. Yet they did not conquer. They protected. Under the queen's guidance and Elias' influence, they became guardians of unstable systems, always accompanied by human advisors. Other empires tried to copy this. It failed. Only humans could do it. Years passed. Elias returned to rescue work. He refused political office. He refused titles. He accepted one thing, a communicator, Whenever the princes visited, it activated. They would arrive with royal escorts, towering and calm, lying beside him like oversized pets while diplomats stared in disbelief. Children across the galaxy grew up hearing stories, not of humans as warriors, but of humans who could walk into a room full of monsters and make it quiet. One day, the Queen stood before the Galactic Assembly. She was older now, slower, but her voice still commanded silence. "We believed strength was measured by fear," she said. "We were wrong." The hall listened. Humans showed us another path. They do not dominate, they endure, they connect. She turned her gaze outward. The future of the galaxy will not be ruled by those who can destroy it. Her wings folded. It will be shaped by those who can calm it. The vote passed unanimously. Humans were named a keystone species. Harm against them was forbidden. Their role was protected. Years later, Elias lay on a quiet hillside on Earth, watching the sky. He was older now, his body weaker. A familiar shadow passed overhead. The princes arrived. They lay beside him, massive and gentle, their presence warming the ground. "You came," Elias whispered. They lowered their heads. Elias closed his eyes, smiling. Far across the stars, the Queen felt peace. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. They had done something far greater. They taught it how to rest. Final HFY note: humanity was not the strongest, not the fastest, not the most dangerous. But when the monsters came,